that's somewhat similar to Coach Smith, except for the language, but, I can get up with that.
Smoothly adapting to a new coaching style, Michael would continue his rise to stardom by leading the U.S. to the gold medal. And he was now ready for the next step in his blossoming career, the NBA.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan, University of North Carolina.
As the third overall draft pick, Michael was expected to make an impact, but few could have imagined just how sensational he would be. Taking the league by storm, Jordan would electrify his sport in a way that few athletes had ever done before.
The Bucks 9-0 here. There's the double. Jordan against Dale Ellis off to the right. Jordan on the drive, falls down underneath. Jordan. Oh, what a drive. And Ewing wants the ball and gets it. Jordan on the drive. Can he get there? Can he get there?
For Michael, it seemed anything was possible, and in just his second season, he would stage an epic playoff performance.
Got it! 63 for Jordan! A new NBA record has been set in the Boston.
I don't believe what I just saw! I saw man fly!
Here comes Mr. Jordan! Action!
Well, I think he's probably the most excited player that's come into this league since probably Dr. J. Hopefully I can make a name for myself and not try to live off his name. I think Michael Jordan sounds pretty good to me.
After a few short years, he was already being mentioned among the all-time greats.
You had two players that played on the floor that excited you by their play on the floor, myself and Larry. And now here come one that excites you playing in the air.
Jordan cleared for takeoff. Pass to Jordan, and there he comes, slam.
Well, first of all, you start talking about the fact that the guy literally is embarrassing the league. He's that good.
Gets it away to Jordan. Oh, showtime for Mr. Jordan. Jordan to the hook. Oh.
You might see something if you watched him that you've never seen before and will never see again.
Look at the air. Look at the hang time. Look at the flying motion. Sent it out to Jordan down the lane all the way.
He has a force of personality that's not the same thing as sports talent, but elevates that talent. If you didn't know anything about basketball and he walked into the room, you'd say, that's somebody. That's got to be somebody.
Jordan's appeal transcended basketball. He became a cultural phenomenon that extended to the world of marketing and media, and he had even become a trendsetter.
You know, he had his own particular style. He wore those baggy shorts. He was one of the first athletes to shave his head. He was so good, so charismatic, that whatever he did suddenly became popular and became cool.
It's something about the combination of everything, The game, obviously. He was a tremendous athlete. And he had a great smile. Something very wonderful and warm about when he smiled. And he really communicated well with the camera.
It was great. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in commercials or want to see your posters or your billboards all over the place? I'm just a country boy from North Carolina, and to be on television and do these things were great.
Nobody in the world could cover my main man, Michael Jordan. Nobody.
I always wanted to be an easygoing guy. My personality is that I'm outgoing. I love people. I love being around people. I love kids. So if I didn't have the personality to do it, it would be tough. But my personality fits this mold very easily.
It seemed that fans just couldn't get enough of the game's newest superstar, and Air Jordan would never leave them disappointed.
In a league of stars and a game of stars, you were the star of stars. Congratulations on being the 1988 All-Star MVP.
Jordan had risen to superstar status.
Are pointing totally at Michael Jordan. They don't believe that any of the other four Bulls can hurt them at this point.
You can tell when we're beating him, and he's looking around like, I'm doing all I can do. I'm getting 60 points, 45 points, 39 points. was still losing.
As the 1991 season began, Jordan knew a change was needed if the Bulls were to finally fulfill their destiny.
I felt that we were going to lose out on this opportunity in terms of my leadership and what I had to do on the basketball court. I was going to do whatever I had to do to get us a championship.
He would focus on getting his teammates more involved and making the most of their talents.
Stock all the way to the ground, layup. Blocked by Jordan. Michael Jordan. What a play. And here's Jordan down court. The Stacey King slammed up. Michael Jordan doing it all. Greer falls down. And Cartwright steals the ball. And Jordan. Michael blowing in. Beats Pippen for the chance.
Anything the Bulls lacked, Jordan would provide as they achieved their best record ever.
If you need something done, I do it. You know, defense, passing, scoring, whatever. That was a challenge that I took.
Returning to the conference finals, they found their tormentors, the Pistons, waiting once again. But this time, things would be different.
Pistons with the numbers. Edwards lost it. Oh, Jordan stripped the dribble. Action over. Yes. The Bulls on fire. Jordan with Dumars. Takes it into the lane. Hands it off to Horace Grant inside. He lays it in. Yes, sir. McGuire baseline right. Doubled up. Had it chopped away. Cartwright hit the Jordan. Michael in the drive. In on Vinnie Johnson. All the way to the hoop. And lays it in. There's Kennedy all over the Pistons' faces.
Finally earning their vindication, the Bulls completed a 4-game sweep and put the Pistons' nightmare behind them.
I remember looking directly in his eyes, and it was like, whatever you do, whatever you say, we're going to beat you. And once you get him like that, all you can do is move aside because there's no stopping his freight train.
Detroit Pistons heading back to the locker room. Their season has concluded while the Chicago Bulls advance to the NBA championship round.
As he made his NBA Finals debut, Jordan's timing was perfect. He would face Magic Johnson and the Lakers in what would be Magic's last trip to the finals.
This series tends to be, at least in the public mind, Air Jordan against the Magic Man.
There's no question, you're not going to avoid the Magic Michael thing.
We're going to take our friends and fans on a trip into Dreamland. Magic and Michael.
Magic had led his Lakers to 5 championships in the 80s. If Michael were to inherit his mantle as the NBA's premier superstar, now would be the time to do it. And the entire sports world would be watching.
We didn't feel like the pressure was on us, but the challenge was there, yeah, especially for myself. Yeah, I'm going against one of the greatest players in the game, and I want to beat him.
With his opportunity now in front of him, Michael would rise to the challenge and lift his teammates along with him, as Chicago would dominate the Lakers.
Devos with a bounce pass in Jordan. The steal tight ropes the sideline all the way to the hoop for the dunk. And a spectacular play by Jordan. The Bulls have exploded. Showtime! As he skies into the air, midair, Jordan throws it down.
Michael and the Bulls would capture their first championship.
The look away to Livingston. Jordan.
The torch of NBA supremacy had emphatically been passed from Johnson to Jordan.
Everybody knew that it was coming. It's just when. When was he going to be ready to receive it and take it? And boy, did he receive it and take it. I mean, he came up and snapped. Here, give it to you, Magic. It's my turn.
And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
For 7 long years, he had pursued the NBA title. And now that he had finally achieved his goal, he seemed to take on an even more heroic quality.
I think the fact that he failed the first few times he took a run at the title made people connect to him and relate to him a little bit better because they saw that he wasn't just this machine. I mean, everyone's failed at certain things, and to see a star of his magnitude fail and feel it so deeply raised his stature in people's minds.
And it seemed that fans everywhere were reveling in Michael's triumph.
From a public acceptance, you're never a champion until you are a champion. And once that burden was gone, I mean, he just soared to even greater heights that it's just hard to imagine.
As a member of this team and an organization in the city of Chicago for 7 years, it brings me great joy to say we are the world champions. Thank you.
Michael and the Bulls were raising the championship banner at last. But as the 92 season began, it was clear that his hunger for winning was far from satisfying.
It's like the guy on King of the Hill situation. Once you're on top of the hill, you want to defend it.
Having finally ascended to the NBA's pinnacle, Jordan was determined to stay there.
Michael, you know, he really took matters in his own hands right there at the stretch of the game.
Here comes Jordan. Behind the back. What a play. What a play. How does he do that? How does he do that? How does he know?
Whenever it's time for Michael to take over a game, he takes it over.
You know, it just let us know that, hey, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. It's my game. I love it. I love it.
Michael led Chicago to the best record in the league, and in the process, he would add to his growing list of personal accomplishments.
3 MVPs, 6 straight scoring titles. You are simply the standard by which basketball excellence is measured. Congratulations.
Chicago Stadium, the site tonight as the Bulls begin defense of their NBA championship.
Biggest focus of the season is the playoffs. I thrive on it. I love it. It's a joy for me to step in front of that camera when you know millions of people are watching and show the skills and creativity that you have as an athlete.
Jordan drives it.
As the Bulls easily dispatched the Miami Heat, Jordan was at his sensational best.
Goes inside. Oh, classic Jordan! Classic Michael Jordan!
While against Patrick Ewing and his bruising Knicks, he would be at his most determined.
Oh, he is ripped by Starks.
Patrick is one of my best friends. But yet, at one point in time in that series, I was ready to go blows with him.
Despite New York's physical play, Jordan refused to be intimidated. If anything, their strategy only served to inspire him even further.
Here's Jordan. Jordan with the steal. And then it's stolen by Starks. McDaniel chased by Jordan. It's a clear line. Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game.
But he would save his most dramatic performance for the final act, in a showdown against rival superstar Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers.
Jordan against Drexler. Clyde against Michael.
See, this is what Michael lived for. He wanted this challenge.
Everyone was saying that this would determine who's a better guard in the league. I looked at that as a challenge, and hopefully by the end of that series, people understood the difference.
And they would waste no time erasing any doubts, putting on a spectacular show right from the start.
Oh, he is on fire. Blazers get back. Time for Jordan to go for three. He's in a frenzy here. And Jordan fires it in. Oh, no! I don't believe it. 3 pointers from Jordan. What in the world is going on?
With his offensive explosion, Jordan propelled the Bulls to their second straight title and raised his own popularity to new heights. But incredibly, it was about to soar even higher. That summer, he would join Larry Bird and Magic Johnson on the fabled Dream Team.
You can't get too close.
There, as his competitive fire continued to burn.
It's been 8 years, going into my 9th year, and we got 2 championships, and hopefully we got a lot left.
As the 1993 season began, Jordan would add even more astounding images to his seemingly endless highlight reel.
Yes, here comes Mike!
Here's Jordan in deep on Elo.
About to start right to Jordan. Time winding down. Michael for 3. Yeah! 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 Yes! 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 A winner! Unbelievable!
The entire season had seemed to become a command performance for Jordan.
It's an unbelievable sight to be pulling into a hotel at 3 in the morning on the bus. You turn around the corner and all of a sudden the whole street is lit up. You think, wow, they're filming a movie out here or something. Well, it's not. It's just that the Bulls are arriving. Michael Jordan, they have a chance maybe to see him.
In the postseason, he would lead the Bulls back to the finals with his trademark flair.
Yeah! Does it again!
But while Chicago playing for the NBA championship had become a familiar plot,
He is amazing.
the 93 finals would bring Michael a new and entertaining co-star.
God want us to win the world championship. I don't know if I go that far, Charles. I thought to him the other night.
However, not even divine intervention was enough,
Spins away on Marley. He'll take it all the way to the basket and drops it in.
as Jordan would relentlessly attack Charles Barkley and the Suns.
Now underneath, Michael fights him, score with a left hand.
Michael Jordan now looks like he is going to drive every time he gets his hand on a ball until they stop it.
His onslaught would include a personal finals best 55 points in Game 4.
Michael will take it. He's fouled. He scored. He threw it up. Off that and it went in. Oh, my Michael with a discipline near midcourt. I tell you, he's just simply amazing. He does whatever he has to do to beat you.
Well, we cannot stop him. I never said we had to stop him. We can't stop him. Nobody can stop him.
The Bulls would wrap up the series in 6 games, sealing it in dramatic fashion.
That's the first score by anybody other than Michael Jordan in the entire fourth quarter.
Michael had now reached the pinnacle of his career.
For the 3rd year, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls have climbed the Mount Olympus of the NBA.
Solidifying his status as the game's greatest player, Jordan had done what Bird and Magic could not, win a 3rd straight title, a feat not achieved since Bill Russell's great Celtics of the 60s.
Congratulations, it's a great accomplishment.
He had seemingly done it all. Rededicating himself to the game, Jordan attacked his workouts with a vengeance, and he spent the summer honing his talent like never before.
I felt compelled each and every day when I got up to go out and somehow tune up and get back to where I was. And so I was that much more motivated to prove to the world that don't write me off yet.
As he joined his teammates for the 96 season, Michael was embarking not just on a personal quest, but also on an historic mission.
I said to Michael, it's a great challenge anyway because no one's come back and helped the team win a championship. So this is a great challenge in that regard.
I was being judged on it from the public, from the media, because of my age and because of my being away from the game for 2 years almost. And the only way that I could prove them wrong was to win a championship, from start to finish.
And from the beginning, he was ready to prove his point.
Michael looking to make a move here. Clear out from Longley. It's with authority. Wham! In your face. MJ between them all. He got every one of them. Yes! Jordan picked it off. Behind the back. Oh, yes, sir. Wow.
It's in his own little zone today. It looks good.
3 on the shot clock. Here comes Michael. Puts it on the floor. Pull up 16-footer.
Put 2 more down for the King. He is the man. Jordan. Michael tonight is showing the entire repertoire.
With Michael on our side, it was, guys are on the bench the whole game saying, oh, we're only 12 down, we're going to come back.
Jordan going and throws it up. Skinny puts it in with an amazing move.
This guy was back in his full force as the most dominant player in the game.
Not only had his dominance returned, so had his zest for the game.
Come on, I'll give you a jump shot right now. Give you a jump shot, shoot. You don't want it. Hey, my boy don't want to play, do it. He hurt this boy. You hurt Nick, dog. Get your back. Get your back. Tap my elbow.
His comeback had turned into a joyride as Michael would regain the MVP award and lead the Bulls into NBA history with a record for regular season victories. Leading the Bulls to an astounding 72 wins, Jordan stamped them as one of the greatest teams ever, and incredibly, raised his own stature even higher.
He was up at the very top, the most popular athlete in the world for 8, 9, 10 years. He leaves the game and comes back stronger than ever. I don't think anyone in the history of sport has ever pulled off something like that. And the guy, and he did it again somehow.
In the playoffs, Michael would come full circle. Again facing Orlando, he would seize the opportunity for redemption. Erasing the memory of last year's defeat, the Bulls swept the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jordan was now on the verge of completing his quest.
The Bulls once again make it to the NBA Finals.
And facing the Seattle Supersonics on the NBA's ultimate stage, he would remove any remaining doubts that he was the Michael Jordan of old.
Michael Jordan is in another time, in another space, on another plateau.
And as he led Chicago to victory over Seattle, Michael's comeback was now complete.
And for the fourth time in 6 years, Jordan rules. After a 2-year absence, the Chicago Bulls have regained the NBA throne.
It marked the culmination of a journey that had begun with his retirement. Fittingly and symbolically, it had ended on Father's Day.
I think it was a signal to some degree that he was there with me in certain emotions that I couldn't really control, knowing that the success of it had something to do with him, and that meant a lot to me.
Michael, I know that the first one was sweet, but how much sweeter was this one?
Well, I can't even put it in words. My father did what he did to me. I know he's watching. This is for Daddy.
Together, the greatest NBA players of all time. For the Chicago Bulls, number 23, Michael Jordan.
He's blessed with so many God-given abilities, and then his own self-drive to make him even better than that is something that takes him off the scale.
He is the most tenacious competitor. Add that to his physical gifts, and he has a sense of history and a sense of what his legacy can be if he keeps pushing it.
Michael on the drive. Beautiful. Right by everybody with the left hand.
There's something compelling about this guy, so likable, so dignified and classy, and yet with the athletic heart of an assassin.
Tell me I can no longer fly. I don't want you to.
It's not how hard you push along the way. It's having something in you to finish.
Michael Michael Jordan had regained his place as the NBA's preeminent player. He had recaptured the title and achieved one of sport's greatest comebacks. But as usual, he was intent on achieving even more.
Jordan setting it up on Shady. MJ. Oh, he did it! Hey, Michael shakes the finger. He finally got it dumped about the tumble.
And against the Utah Jazz in the finals, he continued to display the many different ways he could lead a team.
MJ, top of the circle, against Russell. Michael hangs, fires, scores! And it goes well! He knocked it in at the buzzer, goes well! How many times has he done that?
Following his Game 1 heroics, Jordan would provide a different kind of drama in Game 5. Weakened by a stomach virus, he would keep the Bulls in the game through sheer will and determination.
As a leader, you want to be there for your team. As long as I'm able to walk and run and shoot, I've always been there. Sick, it doesn't matter.
With the score tied in the final minute, an exhausted Jordan would summon his strength and deliver the crushing blow.
Back Michael, open three, yes! They lead it, 38 points for the Kings! Stuck and dagger at him with a three! Yes!
That game today was unbelievable, as his teammates, we really appreciate the way that he steps up and shows his leadership to our ball club.
With Michael winning his 5th Finals MVP award, the Bulls captured their 5th title. But even in their moment of triumph, one question lingered. How much longer would Jordan play?
You think you guys will get together and do it all again?
Oh, tough question to ask us right now. We're just enjoying what we're doing.
Celebrate. Go ahead and celebrate.
With rumors swirling of his impending retirement, the 1998 season took on an air of finality for Jordan. Throughout the league, crowds turned out in record numbers to witness what was dubbed the Last Dance. Embracing his role as the game's ambassador, Michael's popularity had never been higher, and his aura never greater. He was the focus of attention all season long, and each night he would leave fans with a performance to remember.
Lots of guys are strong, and lots of guys have skill, and only one guy has this level of artistry.
At the All-Star Game in New York, he would capture MVP honors for the 3rd time.
I'm only going to allow him to have his trophy if he promises to come back and do it again.
And with Michael driving the Bulls, they were taking aim at yet another NBA championship.
You don't find leaders like that in this game. You don't find people that want to practice and lead and practice as well as in games.
Though it was to be his final season, he never was leading 3-2. He would save one of his most remarkable performances for last. In Game 6 in Utah, the Bulls trailed by 3 with less than a minute to play. Facing a critical moment, Michael would add a stirring final chapter to his legend.
Out front to the man, Michael Jordan. Jordan up top, make left, go right. He's there, lay it up, score it easily. Wow.
Throughout his career, he had answered every challenge, and with his resolve tested once again, Jordan would respond as he had done so often before.
Stockton, inside of Carmelo, they double it. Jordan knocks it away from him. Jordan's got it. The Bulls can win it right here. The Bulls can win it. Unbelievable.
And now all that remained was to provide the perfect exclamation point.
16 seconds left. Bulls down 1. Michael against Russell. 12 seconds. 11. 10. Jordan a drive. Hangs. Fires. Yes! He scores! The Bulls lead 87-86.
The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship in the last 8 years. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
This legend just
Holy cow!
It's been remarkable. What a joy to watch.
That may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.